Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good day. So this video will explain to you regarding the midterms, our previous midterm. Just to let you know that each question was prepared by different lecturer, and therefore you need to give your best in order to answer each types of questions. So for me, I did prepare a question number 3, so I will explain to you on how to answer an open-ended question which is related to our previous midterm exam question, because later on in final exam the same format of question will be given to you, so you need to know on how to answer such question. Okay, so now let's refer to question number 3. The question asks you to draw and also explain the process of on how to produce a hexagonal tube diameter, a hexagonal tube with diameter of 50 mm and also 5 meter in length. The correct answer is that you need to explain an extrusion process, but then somehow for those who answer using a drawing process, I still gave you marks, but it is not 100% marks. But then somehow, okay, back to the extrusion process. So that one is question number 1. In one question, you got two elements in that question. Number 1 is the extrusion process in order to produce a hexagonal tube with diameter of 50 mm and also 5 meter length. The question number 2 is that you need to suggest at least three I repeat, at least 3 processing parameters to improve the quality of the final product. So by referring to these 2 elements, the process itself, marks will be given to you was 16 marks, and for processing parameters as 9 marks, by assuming that 3 processing parameters will be were given by the students. And then okay, back to the extrusion process. This is how marks being given to you. Actually, the questions is very straightforward. So the first step is that you need to draw a process flow, step by step, and you need to have a label on each step, a correct label. And the process step is that starting from preparing the materials until finished product. So each single step need to have correct label. By right, you should be able to draw 5 section of the process. And then after that, in terms before it comes to final product, which is 5 meter length. So how do you cut it into 5 meter length? So you need also to explain. Well, that is the drawing part. Other than drawing, you need to explain as well, because the drawing itself will not cannot stay alone. So you need to include explanation, because by referring to the marks, it is quite high. Therefore, you need to include explanation as well. Otherwise, you'll be losing marks, which quite a lot there. Other than that, you also need to explain on the extruder. Other than the section or station with 5 stations just now, you need to explain on the extruder part, which relates to the die shape, because the question specifically asks you to produce a hexagonal tube with diameter of 50 mm, and therefore you need to draw the die shape which are going to be used in the extruder. So with that, with the correct process flow, correct label, correct steps, and until it comes to final product, yeah, you'll get 100% mark, full marks there. Plus, actually, if any of you include some additional information, for example, heat treatment and so on and so forth, yes, obviously, other marks will be given to you. additional mark will be given to you in case you do not get full marks for the process explanation in full. Okay, so plus with 3 processing parameters which is included in the question. So that's how you get full marks for the question for answering an open-ended question. For question number 1 and number 2, different lecturers will mark your question, your answer, but then the steps is the same because it is an open-ended question. Somehow you need to understand the question and then start to point it out step by step on how to explain the processes in detail. And if you refer to question 3 just now, second section, which is suggesting 3 processing parameters, almost all students give give answers in point format, and nobody actually explain the processing parameters itself. But then somehow we still gave you full marks for giving at least 3 processing parameters. So I guess by explaining on how to, giving you tips on how to answer an open-ended question, hopefully in the next midterm, in the next final exam, you should be able to answer it well. And do not forget, again, I would like to highlight it here, you need to explain each of the processes in detail, including the drawing and also the correct level of it. With that, thank you very much and see you again. Bye bye.